and Gangplank are really just, as you were saying earlier, what do you think we're going to get picked up? Those two champions are definitely, you know, top tier currently, and we've seen a lot at the World Championships.
I think as of right now, Gangplank might be the only champion that is 100% pick ban at the World Championships and has only gone not picked in 7%, or has only gone not banned, excuse me, in 7% of games. So it's such a powerful thing that giving it to your opponent is so scary for you that you don't want to see them. You don't. If you see a Gangplank on the other team, then you have a timeline. You have it's about a 35, maybe 40-minute fuse. If you do not end the game, then one of those barrels is going to destroy your entire team, which is natural harm.
So we see the Braum picked up for Team Kingston. That's going to be really good to keep Jinx peeled. That's essentially what his job is going to be, to peel the Jinx. But Kingston just picking such ruthless champions. Kalista Thresh, said by pro players that is the most annoying bot lane to face, because Kalista and Thresh can hug each other and lantern each other and just keep each other safe and warm and cuddles by the fire, sipping on hot cocoa and marshmallows. They're looking nice and safe in the comfort of their own home. I don't even know if Jinx and Braum could stand up to this, but we do see Fiora and Brand picked up. Those are two really strong champions going on right now as well.
I am surprised to see the Brand pick. I feel like it's a little bit of a dangerous blind pick. Very susceptible to assassins because of his low mobility. Though, Brand is like deceptively strong in that at level 2, you have a point your Q and a point something else. That's a 2-second stun at level 2. That's pretty good gank setup, I would say.
Yeah, I think we're going to look to see who picks up, because it's important to know who actually gets these champions, right? A few on both teams, they do have low elo players, they do have high elo players. We're looking at you, DJ Dunno and Captain Chocobo. What are you got? Where are you going to put your chops? Where are you going to put all your marbles? And what is your is your team motivated? How are things going right now? If we take a look at the standings, we can see that Windsor is currently at a loss. This game will put them out of the tournament completely, I think. Wait, is it double elimination or round robin? So they're not exactly out yet, but they do really need to pick up this win to
seriously limit their chances.
Yeah, they're playing with their chances, but Kingston does have a win currently, so they are ahead of the pack alongside Team Whitby in Group D. If you want to take a look at the challenge, it's challenge.com/SQL3. We are about to get into the game with, we're just going to wait for the 3-minute delay, but all the teams have been locked in. Victor picked up as the last champion. DJ Dunno going to be up against Yummy Spirits in the mid lane. Yummy Spirits, good friend of mine, a part of the Ryerson University League of Legends group. Going to be looking to show her chops on the grand stage.
I wish her the best of luck on this brand.
We'll see how she does, but it's interesting to know that she came in with Captain Chocobo as her duo.
Oh, yeah?
And since he picked up the jungle, you know, he's going to be playing Lee Sin. He's going to need to ward up that mid lane and keep his mid laner safe. If Brand wants to get ahead of Victor, he's going to need to ward up the mid lane, make sure Gragas doesn't come in there, and keep Victor shaking in his boots.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, it's odd that Gragas is one of the few champions that has very good early game pressure, as well as is very effective in late game team fights, because you're huge. By late game, you become this huge meat shield. You get all this displacement. You have so much CC. But early game, like, you still have a stun, you still have a slow. That's and a pretty decent chunk of damage, honestly, with his empowered auto attacks and stuff. And his base damages are relatively high. Gragas is really good at applying early pressure in a lane with, I want to say, decent setup with the Victor. And this low mobility Brand, we got it's a lane to look out for sure.
Let's talk about win conditions. Okay, I'm gonna touch on Team Kingston, and then I'll bring it over to you, and you can touch on Windsor. So for Kingston, Captain Chocobo leading the charge. It's gonna be all up to his kicks, right? Like, you need to, at this point, damage is not gonna be enough to to handle this to handle this slippery team, right? They're up against Gragas, Thresh, Kalista. How are you going to get those guys? You're not. You're really not. So it's going to be up to Captain Chocobo to really pick off the key targets and get those kicks, get those really crucial positioning kicks, so that he can line up Mr. 2anyone with a great ultimate or a great damage. Of course, Fiora is going to be important with setting up a great AOE heal or kind of assassinating the backline. But at the end of the day, it's up to Captain Chocobo to land a great kick, Braum to follow up, as well as Brand with great CC, and then Jinx and Fiora to follow up with the damage, and then Jinx, little minority CC. But at the end of the day, Lee Sin and Brand and Braum going to have to somehow combine their damage, but generally they're going to be looking at a pick composition here. Catch somebody out of position and make them pay for it.
All right. I'd say on the red side, it's a much simpler win condition in that stomp bottom lane with that Kalista Thresh, which is not going to be hard against the relatively weak lane of Jinx, although the peel from Braum is amazing. If you can win your bottom lane and go even in your top and mid lane, I would say, have a pretty good chance in the late game with a hard pick with Thresh. Like a good Thresh pick will win you the game. Victor scales very well into late game. Gragas scales very well into late game. Gangplank scales amazingly into the late game.
I think with Thresh and Gragas, it's really going to be up to them to make really good plays. Mm-hmm. If they don't follow through, as we can see with the borders, Gragas silver player, Thresh gold player. It's really going to be up to these guys to make crucial plays. That's not to say that they're not mechanically inclined, but it's really up to them. Victor can't, set up a gravity field and expect everyone to walk into it, right? It's going to be up to them. And the only reason why I touch on Elo so often is because it really matters mechanically, but if it doesn't, it matters in where your position is, where you position yourself in a team fight, or where you position yourself during a river dance or a Baron waltz, whatever the situation calls for. It's going to be up to you to be in the right position at the right time. Mechanics, you can be a mechanical god, but if you're not the right place at the right time, you just missed your deadline.
Absolutely. It's also pay attention to the zone control on the red team. They've got the gravity field from Victor. They've got the Gangplank barrels as well as the Gangplank ultimate.
Yeah, for sure.
They've got Gragas barrels. They've got Thresh, just period, Thresh. There's a ton of zone control from this red team, whereas not quite so much.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
What I love about this team, though, is that they have Kingston has absolutely great wave clear. Windsor's not going to have a great time. Windsor's not going to have a great time sieging at all. They don't really have a lot of great siege. They have great, they can fight great in the jungle. They can fight great in team fights with the peel from Thresh and the different types of setup that you can get from Victor and Gragas. But as far as wave clear go, it's going to be difficult for them to siege. Kalista needs to get really close in range to even do anything with Brand and Jinx at the back line. Even if Kingston is behind in gold or losing in some manner, it's going to be really hard for them to get any objectives. I know that you said zone control, but as far as sieging goes, wave clear going over to Kingston.
Although the Victor death rate, which is level 7, one shot.
Oh yeah, of course. But can Kalista really do a whole lot?
Ultimately, no.
Yeah.
You need a couple items on Kalista to really have even decent wave clear, and even then, it's not very good. It'll do, but on a team when you've got the Gangplank barrels, which again, their late game wave clear is much better than their early game wave clear. With the Victor and Gangplank.
I want to talk a little bit about summoners, both mid laners opting in with Ignite, looking to get a kill early on in the game. I really love the TB because you can snowball leads, by yourself. but that means that you're a part of the advantage, right? With Ignite, it's a very selfish summoning spell, whereas TP really aids you and the team. You know, you get back to lane faster if you want to buy. You can gank bot lane with this deep ward in the second bush. Whatever you want to do, the world is your oyster, and with Teleport, you can really make that happen. With Ignite, you're looking to fight, and I don't think Victor's really looking to fight earlier on.
No, I don't think Victor or Brand really.
Oh, baby, it looks like...
2-second stun coming out.
Yeah, looks like they're definitely really, both mid laners are fairly low. Gragas is making his rounds, trying to see if he can catch Lee Sin or Yummy Spirits in a bad position, but Brand is a little bit low on mana, whereas Victor's a little bit low on health. Gragas making his way top lane. Lee Sin following right behind him. Both top and jungle looking to start the fight. Gangplank just poking around a little bit. Captain Chocobo gonna find Gragas in the Triborg. Gonna actually go in on this. Not gonna really do a whole lot. Just gonna back off there. Fiora trying to do what she can, getting really nice weaknesses there. I think every lane is just gonna be a little bit of a standstill, and it's gonna be up to the junglers to really spice things up. I think nobody's really looking to fight that like too much. We saw Brand and Victor doing a little bit of a tango in the mid lane, but overall I think it's going to be up to Gragas and Lee Sin to instigate the fights in the lanes if they were to happen. As you can see, ball lane is just kind of poking back and forth, trading evenly. Gangplank and Fiora trading evenly. Victor and Brand kind of going a little bit back and forth, but
the bottom lane of the Kalista Thresh, it's such a dominant bottom lane because of that passive W. They're not abusing it nearly as effectively as
oh, baby, here comes the Gragas into the ball lane. Braum is in a little bit of trouble, has to flash out of there. Wow, 3 summoners burned into the at the bot lane. That was not too good for the team, but Captain Chocobo waiting in the wings in the bot lane, looking to make something happen, try to bait them out. Will he get the bait? The hook is going to come out by Thresh. Does miss Braum there. Lee Sin and Gragas both kind of waiting in the bot side, but Gragas is making his way to the mid lane. DJ Dunno stepping a little bit back to bait the Brand overstep. Gragas waiting in the wings. Brand is feeling a little bit confident here, and he's going to actually step over the halfway mark, which is the cue for a jungler to go in. But I think Brand knows what's up. He's going to make his way up. Ooh, X-Tempest in a little bit of trouble. Lisa coming in to save him. But here comes Gragas in the mid lane. Ooh, gets the body slam, slows down. Yummy Spirits Ignite going out. Going to get the kill. Flashes forward, didn't really need to, but first blood going over to Victor.
That was quite well played. Unfortunate about the flash. That Ignite did have on it.
Ball lane in a little bit of trouble. Temptation going to get the kill onto Jinx. Double kill going over for Kalista. A little bit of an overstepping.
I think exactly what I was talking about. The power of that percent HP burn. Passive Kalista's W with the Thresh. Double range. So strong. Team so often plays so often. The amount of damage that can come out of that. A relatively effortless double kill.
Looks like Kingston is in a little bit of trouble. Captain Chocobo has been trying to make plays, but has been kind of in the wrong position at the wrong time. And Gragas has been at the right place at the right time. He got 3 summoners when he visited bot, whereas Lee Sin came in, safeguarded, and walked away. He's been wasting a little bit of time, and we all know that Lee Sin's on a timer, right? If he's not going to be able to make anything happen in the early stages of the game, it's going to be up to him to maybe spike things up a little bit in the mid game, for sure.
With the way, well, he's actually changed his path now. With the way that he was building before, he had got just the longsword still on that machete, going for a skirmish. But he's realizing that he's kind of being forced into farming a little bit. So we go for a bit of a pause. Lee Sin's kind of been forced into farming because the red side has done a very good job of just kind of laning very safely. safely and
Yeah.
not really necessarily passively, trading well, winning in CS in all lanes by, you know,
It's hardly
1 to
even
4.
it's hardly even like, you know, something to comment on. The CS is actually fairly even, but Kalista does have the edge now. She has her Bilgewater Cutlass built, and she's almost on her way to a Bork, whereas Jinx having to kind of like, you know, underbuy with the boots and the pickaxe, going to be really, really, really far away from her spike, whereas Kalista's already on her way to a great dueling kit. And as we can see, I'm actually a support main, but Thresh is ahead of Braum, as you can see. Braum had to update his Relic Shield. He upgraded his Relic Shield as opposing to buying a Sightstone or boots. That's going to be... You're going to be lacking vision in the bot lane for a long time, and that's going to be really important when somebody like Gragas and Thresh are roaming. Look, they're roaming mid, trying to get this Brand into the gutter. And that's not good for Captain Chocobo. He's going to need to pick up the ward slack. As you can see, they're making their way downtown. Ultimate used by Kalista. Ultimate used by Gangplank to set something up. Mr. 2NE1 in a little bit of trouble. Captain Chocobo low on HP. X-Tempers, the object of their affection. They're actually not able to get any kills there whatsoever. Let's take a look at that replay. As we can see, great flay coming out from Thresh, but he gets the hook on the wrong person. Captain Chocobo and Jinx are able to make their way out safely, whereas X-Tempers gets pretty much the majority of the remaining damage as his teammates are able to get away safely.
Such strong takes down the dragon with that Kalista. Part of Braum's kit, his peel is so strong. He blocks so much damage with that Unbreakable. His whole team managed to get out, no problem.
And they were able to get a dragon off.
Yeah, and as we were...
Oops. Didn't even notice that, but great kill in the top lane. Actually, I'm pretty sure, as you can see, the death is under turret, so I'm pretty sure Gangplank actually dived Fiora and was taken by the turret.
A little bit trigger happy, but whatever. Hashtag worth.
Hashtag worth. I'm excited to see what the mid game is like, because right now Gragas and his crew are putting in a lot of work. They're currently 2k gold ahead of the opposition. Gragas has been making his rounds around the map, and Kalista is currently in the lead. Ooh, beautiful. Ooh. I'm not really sure what Chocobo was thinking there, but kicks DJ Dunno to a safe place.
I think honestly in that play, just trying to make some room for his mid laner to farm up, push up the lane, deny the Victor a little bit. The Victor did just come back from lane, buying his second upgrade on the Hex Core, which is actually something I really want to pay attention to. There's a lot of different types of Victor builds. Personally, I like to go for the tier 2 Hex Tech into Luden's Echo and cooldown boot. But I know people like the Abyssal Scepter rush against an ability, an AP mid laner, or some people like to go Necronomicon for the cooldown reduction. A lot of different builds that are honestly none of them necessarily wrong.
Ooh, Captain Chocobo sidesteps the hook. Victor going to continue to chase Sonic Wave over to the Raptors. Here comes Brand to save his homie. Gonna zone him out with the Pillar of Fire. Captain Chocobo looking to get his Raptor, but DJ Dunno in the wings, flash and ultimate use gets the kill onto Captain Chocobo. He's gotta not be happy about that one.
That was so greedy. You're so low in HP. It's a big Raptor. It's gonna be there when you come back. He knows that the enemy is right around the corner. He knows that the Victor is ahead. Forward to get out of lane.
Oh, beautiful parry coming out from Fiora. Gragas ultimate used to push Fiora out of the way, but not towards Gangplank, actually towards the turret. That was a great play coming out from Fiora. I think that's probably the rework did her justice with the ability to parry an ability, and it's just, you know, you have to do it at the right time. It's just great. And Bor Jorez, if I'm pronouncing that right, kudos on that one.
This Jinx, I actually want to take a quick look at. The red team are playing to their win conditions, like we talked about earlier. Dominating in that bottom lane.
Lots of damage in the mid lane, and I think Leeson has been focusing a lot of his attention in the bot lane to get the stun onto Thresh. Huge ultimate, but Kalista saving her friend in the dire time. They try to get the last Q onto Kalista, but Lantern to safety. This is exactly what I was talking about. This is the most awkward bot lane, but the most fun to witness. And as we can see in the mid lane, Brand falling to the Gragas gank. In the ball lane, we actually do see that they tried to pick up the Kalista and Thresh once again, but Gragas is making his way down there. Thresh looking for the hook, actually gets a minion instead. But as you can see, Kalista saved Thresh. Thresh flashed and lanterned Kalista to safety. They used absolutely everything they could. Of course, Lee Sin did get the summoners, but it's a little bit unfortunate as Kingston needs to figure out a way to get back into this game.
That's exactly the power of this specific bottom lane.
Yeah.
One person can save the other, and then in turn say, thanks, buddy, and then the other person can save the other. It's honestly extraordinarily powerful. And then with the double range, this, like I was saying before, we had so rudely interrupted by people actually doing things. They're playing to their win. Victor is just clearing waves, happens to be a little bit ahead. Hard in the top lane.
Oh, ooh, great. I was waiting for the moment that Fiora would duel Gangplank, because she could obviously outduel quite a lot of top laners. Gangplank is one of those people. Actually, we do have a fight in the bot lane. No more flashes available. Thresh falling down to the Jinx. They turn their attention to the Kalista, and they're going to take her down with the Thresh. Double kill going over to Jinx. That's exactly what they need at the current state of the game. They need Jinx to get to a spot where she's able to just, 2v5 or 3v5. She needs to be able to feel comfortable and confident. I think that's why Lee Sin's been spending a lot of time down there. But now he needs to focus his attention to warding up his mid laners. He needs some vision. Gragas has been completely pressuring Yummy Spirits, and it's been bad. 0-2, 30 CS down. Victor's 2 kills ahead. Currently it's not looking too hot for Brandon. Lee Sin needs to show middle. That's all he's got to do. He's got to ward up. Even if he doesn't show, all he has to do is ward up. As we can even see, Thresh is making his rounds there too, hoping to pressure that Brand, and I can definitely feel like Brand must be feeling the pressure right now.
Yeah, for sure. Back on that, excuse me. Thresh getting a little caught up.
Ooh, he's actually looking for the kill. Jinx does have her ultimate available, but they turn their attention onto the Victor. They turn it around. Great stun, 2-second stun, and Brand actually makes it out of there alive. But here comes Kalista looking for something. Not going to be able to get enough. Here comes the Lantern. Great Lantern. An ultimate just whiffs the Thresh. Greg is going to try to continue the battle here, but this is exactly what they need right now. They get the dragon as well. Dragon's looking to turn it around, but not going to be enough. Gangplank actually coming down to join the fight, but great catch. Victor was just out of position. Brand and Jinx teamed up, got the stun onto the Victor. He even had flash available. He just didn't use it.
This is exactly what the Kalista lane didn't want. They wanted to use their synergy to completely destroy the Jinx. They got one double kill in the bottom lane, which was great. But Jinx was forced into 2 awkward back times. She was forced to go back with just under enough gold to go DF swords. The one with the pickaxe and boot.
Oh, this Gragas is playing phenomenally right now. He's actually able to pressure, and a lot of junglers sometimes lack that pressure. In the last game that I saw Udyr, he was able to pressure top, but his impact was very, very little all around the map. But this Gragas has proven to be really, really annoying for Team Kingston, and I have to commend his ability to ward the enemy jungle and keep tabs on his opposition. Unfortunately for him, Fiora is currently rolling. Fiora is at a point where she's going to start spiking, and she's going to start being a problem for Team Windsor, and they need to deal with that soon. If that means a 3-man collapse in the top lane, that's what it means.
What Fiora does struggle with a little bit, I say a little bit, I mean a little bit, is her team fighting. It's not super strong if she can't get off that AoE heal.
Oh, baby. Huge teamwork there in the bot lane. Temptation actually falling a little bit low. Teleport coming in from Fiora. Captain Chocobo falls to the turret. And Fiora trying to finish off who she can. Double kill going over, but Victor coming to clean up shop. Will the fight continue as Brand is in the tri-bush? Let's actually take a look at that replay. We're ready to go. You see what happens here is great combination here from the entire team, but the Gangplank ultimate is just a little bit off, only mainly focusing on that Lee Sin. Gragas is separated from the rest of the fight, which allows Fiora to clean up shop onto the Kalista and the Thresh, which in turn, Victor shows up a little late. Fiora gets the double.
Ultimately, a 2-2, but I think that is a win for the blue team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Snowballing this Fiora even harder than she was already. She already got the 1v1 kill on the Gangplank. Farming actually quite well, so moving on towards that late game. Still need another, at least one item, at least one more full item to really be a game that's worth.
Yeah, you actually make a pretty valid point. This composition, you know, they have 3 damage threats. And if Gangplank doesn't pick up the slack, he's going to have to be a tank. And Gangplank tank, that's so lame. That's very lame. Of course, it does have the possibility to work, but he's definitely got to, you know, pick things up a little bit because they have a lot of damage on Kingston as well. And they're going to need to match it somehow, and Gangplank's the guy to do it.
That was one of the first sort of big problem plays
fight in the melee. DJ Dunno gets the kill onto Brand. If we look into the top lane, Fiora got in a little bit of trouble by the Gragas, but was able to make it out safely. And not having a turret to fall back on, being able to avoid the gank is a good thing because this allows them to pressure the bot lane. Lee Sin spending a lot of time down there, and they finally managed to get the turret. This is going to put Kalista in a really, really bad spot. You were saying earlier, they need the safety of that winning lane, but the fact that Lee Sin has just been setting up a tent, getting the campfire nice and warm, marshmallows roasting, and everyone's having a great time. It's not a great time for Kalista, being a mosquito and all, getting burned by the fire. It's rough, and Gragas, although he's been doing a great job of, you know, ganking other lanes, he needs to clear that vision. Look at that beautiful vision in the bottom half of the map. They're able to see everything, and Thresh is too afraid to step out.
Yeah,
Thresh or Gragas too afraid to step out.
So if you look at all the vision denial that we have on the red side, 3 sweepers and 2 upgraded green ward droppers. No one's upgraded their sweeper yet. That's an upgraded trinket is the most ever spent.
Ooh, top lane duel gone wrong. Fiora tank, I think, too many turret shots. The AoE from her Tiamat caught whiff of Gangplank. And the turret gave Gangplank a little bit of an edge. She would have gotten that kill fair and square, but ooh, they're looking to pick up this Gragas. Manages to get stunned up, but Lantern going to keep him nice and warm. Kalista pushing the ball lane. The Dragon Dance is starting to begin. Like you said, vision control is important, and Red Team has started to clear out that river. Blue Team is starting to be left a little bit in the dark, and as you can see, everyone's making their way to that ball lane.
And this early game dominance that was in the mid lane specifically. I want to look specifically the matchup between the Victor and Brand.
Ooh, baby, here's the fight. Captain Chocobo in a little bit of trouble. Victor going to get the kill as Chocobo gets a little bit in trouble. But great ultimate coming out from Brand. Huge ultimate cleaning up shop from Jinx. It's going to be a 1-for-2 exchange, but they want to continue the fight. And if not, they're going to pick up the dragon while they still can. DJ Dunno zoning them out while the rest of the team makes their way to safety, having to recall. But this will be a second dragon for Kingston if they decide to take it. Victor might have something to say about that, but they don't decide to take it. They're going to rotate to that mid lane and get the turret. Let's take a look at that replay to see exactly what happened. You see, Captain Chocobo got caught out, and he tried to get the flash onto Temptation, but he wasn't enough. Because Captain Chocobo went in and he relied on his team, Braum went in with him and died as well for him. Of course, Brand, Jinx, Fiora, they all knew that that was bad from the start, and as a result, they backed off.
While we were hanging out in that replay, there was a tower trade, actually. Victor got the tower, outer tower in the bottom lane, whereas I think it was Fiora and Jinx got the tower in the mid lane. Right. This is where the zone rather should have come in huge, but since they lost all of their ward coverage and Blue Team just had such good ward coverage, such good vision control, really good. That parry was
phenomenal.
Well, yeah.
Saw it coming, but phenomenal.
When you see it regardless.
Great rotation coming out from Team Windsor. They do catch Thresh out of position, though. The team is going to collapse. Thresh gets the hook onto Borges, but Exhaust going to come out. Fiora just completely drained of anything. X-Temper's caught hard between rock and a hard place. And although that was a great catch onto Thresh, they were able to turn it around.
Really great, actually. A bit of a bait by Thresh. The red team wasn't actually in position. Thresh was getting caught out, but Thresh is out of position. Like ward, we're gonna get this.
Yeah, this is gonna give. Whoa, Gragas going in really, really deep. They actually turn it around, get the pickup onto Gragas. They're looking for more, but not. They're not. They're gonna decide to back off, keep it safe rather than sorry. Great ultimate coming out from Jinx. They're going to hope to maybe catch up to them. Teleport coming in from Fiora. This is the flank we've been waiting for. Unfortunately, no home guards, and you're not Hecarim. You're not going to be able to catch up. But will you be able to catch? Oh, beautiful! Shutdown, double kill going over to Fiora. And that was a phenomenal play. That is legit a play that changes the tide of a game.
That's exactly what you don't want to let them do. Fiora is going to be huge. She's building the Black Cleaver. She's going to be such a big split push threat. Assuming they use split push correctly. She's going to be such a huge split push threat in the late game. Of course, she's the Grand Duelist. She can duel anybody, regardless of whether she's, well, not necessarily regardless of whether she's ahead or behind, but she's ahead at this point. She's 6-4 behind in CS. She's got so much gold. She's got enough gold. She's got her core items. Could be really, really hard for anybody to get the 1v1 on this Callisto. Or this Fiora.
Gragas thought they were going to Baron, but made the wrong call, and as a result, Gangplank ult use. Whoa! Flash coming out from Gragas, from Gangplank rather. X-Temper's in a little bit of trouble. That was, they overstayed a little bit too long, really, and as a result, 2 for 0 exchange. And now they're picking out the Baron. This could very well be the very first Baron of this game, and they rightfully can take it. Knocking down one of your main carries 4, 2, and 3 is a problem.
I'm gonna just take a look at this Victor build. I actually like this. This is my favorite 4 items. Cooldown boots, Boots Echo, and then tier 2 export, and the Rylai's. The Rylai's is so good for Titan. And when there's a Lee Sin, when there's a Braum, when there's everything, really helps you out with that kiting.
What?
Red team just casually took a Baron. Hey guys.
Well, yeah, when you're down your peel and your AD carry, there's not a whole lot you can do. But what Windsor need to do now is push their advantage. They need to use this Baron effectively and push one of the side lanes. They do already have the second tier turret in the mid lane down. They need to get more map coverage, and that means going to the top lane, going to the ball lane, whatever your flavor. But it's good. We're going to see what they decide to do with it. What Team Kingston have as an advantage is great wave clear. Will they be able to take down the Baron minions? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. They're actually pushing. They decide to push down the mid lane as it is the most exposed, and they can get an inhibitor off this fairly easily. Bot lane is pushing in, whereas top lane is pushing in favor of Team Kingston. They might be able to get this inhibitor and then rotate bot. Or, if mid isn't working as a result, they're going to go to that bot lane.
This is exactly what I was about to say. When you group up as 5 while you have that Baron buff, you're not getting...
Whoa! Beautiful play! They hide in the bush and get the kill onto Fiora.
Dramatic brush.
That was very, very smart. And as a result,
getting this tower.
Windsor is just going to take everything. I think they're upset that they lost their first game of the Solo Queue Legends 3 season. And as a result, they're coming back swinging. They're doing whatever they can. They're putting the cheese on the toast, making sure it's melted, and they're using all sorts of tactics. And I'm shocked that they pulled that off. I'm shocked. Whoever called that, call me. We'll talk sometime. That was incredible. Look at these hooks. Look at these plays.
Yeah.
This is phenomenal.
The Thresh was a little bit, honestly, playing a little bit.
Oh, baby.
Unlucky.
That wasn't from downtown. That was just up north. That was upstate.
That was unfortunate.
Oh
Ooh.
My goodness! Captain Chocobo.
Those are the diamond mechanics that we were talking about earlier.
He's got the
High
ship on
cap.
full tilt. He's got the cartographer. He's looking at the stars. He's making his way. That was an incredible play. And now they get the dragon off this. The Baron's going to come off. They're going to be able to use this. All that red team really got was a fancy kill on Fiora and a second tier bot lane turret. They didn't really push their advantage.
That did end up being a 2-for-1 in favor of the blue,
exactly.
Yeah, in favor of the blue team.
And as a result, this gives... They still have the Baron, and they're using it to... I don't even know what red team is doing, but they're using interesting plays, but blue team is coming back swinging.
They really need to get a 1-3-1 split push going while they still have this Baron buff, which is now gone.
It's gone.
Huge misuse of that Baron buff. All grouping up as 5 in the mid lane. They didn't even get... They did get a tower in the bottom lane, and they got a kill on the Fiora. That's it. That's not enough. The Baron buff allows you to do so many things, and they did none of this. It allows you to split up your threats. It allows you to put your Gangplank in the top lane while you know, group up in the bottom lane or something like that. Have the Gangplank pushing in. Have those Baron empowered minions. Take a tower, take 2 towers maybe, and then they have to split their resources. Then you're more against less. You take another tower. It's such a snowbally buff. Really a little bit disappointed by how that was.
I think Windsor is playing very, very clean and methodical, but Kingston plays with such high risk, and they're rewarded so. They are down 7k gold, 4 kills. They're ahead by 2 dragons, and they're technically down a Baron, but they've got the confidence of a 10k gold lead team, you know, and they're playing phenomenal. Look at this guy. Who does he think he is? Kicks him out of the way. Of course, that wasn't the right move, but nevertheless, they're playing with confidence. And although they have absolutely, you know, hardly any vision, the red side was completely lit up for, the blue. Kingston's jungle was completely warded by Windsor, but Windsor didn't even really do anything. They didn't hide. They didn't do anything funky. And now they're just stuck pushing mid, getting pushed back, pushing mid, whereas Kingston knows what... Oh, make me eat my words.
Huge misplay.
I am speechless.
By Jinx. That was... There's no reason to be there. That's not your jungle, friend. It's really, really not your jungle.
I do want to say I thought we were watching Oh, I'm going to have to put that on pause. Great ultimate coming out from Brand. Getting Temptation incredibly low. Captain Chocobo. Ooh, but beautiful combination of ultimates coming out from Team Pickering. And as I end my thought there, it's actually Kingston versus Pickering, not Windsor. My apologies, dear fans of Esports Canada. They lied to me. They lied to me. It's Pickering.
Been had. We tried.
Even though they don't have a pick comp. That was a great play, nevertheless. They got the kills that they needed. Captain Chocobo. You know what I feel like about this Lee Sin? He's got guts.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. He's got guts. But sometimes his team believes in him, but he makes the wrong call. So you see there, he went in, and they all got gravity fielded by Victor. And it turned out that it wasn't such a great idea after all. So I think that Lee Sin needs to be really careful with the calls that he makes. For sure. With Baron coming up, they really got to make sure that their calls are on point.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. One bad call means Baron could mean the end of the game if they play their cards right. So, got to be really careful. The Lee Sin, I feel like doesn't really fit into this composition particularly well to begin with. I feel like there's no real tank for Kingston, which is really going to hurt them come late game. Lee Sin has already started falling off.
These hooks are made for dreaming. Great hook landed on by Thresh. They're actually split up in the fight. Bor Juarez in the back line. Another hook for Tony the Tiger. And they're both just kind of going back and forth here. Gragas hasn't decided to use his ultimate. Great stun coming out from Brand. They're going to continue to chase. But Pickering is on the retreat, doing what they can to poke him out. But this is actually good news for Team Kingston as they're able to fend off the Pickering squad. And this means that they get Baron control. This means that they're able to set up, put up their vision. However, Pickering does have a lot of vision that Windsor might not find. Oh, sorry, Kingston might not find.
A big lapse in communication there because Thresh landed some very...
Oh my goodness, Captain Chocobo getting a little bit ballsy, and as a result, two carries are trying to chase him down. Here's the engage from Gangplank. Looks like they're trying to make something happen, but X-Temperance is keeping them at bay. Huge ultimate! Ultimate coming out from Jinx there. Yummy Spirits getting the kill onto Callista. Fiora cleaning up shop, trying to get the AoE heal. They get the Q onto DJ Dunno. Double kill going over to Fiora. She continues to chase on Mr. Gangplank himself. The Musketeer might find himself to be toyed with Fiora as she continues to chase. He uses the Citrus to heal himself up, but will this be it? Shut down going over to Fiora. Let's take a look at that replay. Let's see exactly what happened as I press play. Look at X-Temperance. They focus all their attention while Fiora is still in the back line. They're able to get great combination of CC. As you can see, Callista goes in. Girl, what are you doing? It's not time to get your hair and makeup did. As you can see, Jinx gets a little bit caught out by the laser, but turns it around, and they're able to blow up Callista. This completely turns the tides of the fight. Fiora goes in on the top side, and they're able to, you know, the rest is just history. They just finish off wherever's left. And as while we were talking about this, they managed to get the Baron. They managed to, oh, actually, never mind. We missed something really crucial.
Meanwhile, while that was happening, Victor just casually got a quadra kill. And the Baron for his team.
Oh my god.
Pretty good. DJ Dunno really does not want to lose this game, from what I understand. That was pretty impressive. Meanwhile, they don't have the Callista, they don't have Ren Spears in here, so there is... Well, just...
Here comes the rocket.
Here comes the rocket. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes.
No, it's blocked. It was blocked.
Just kidding.
I was so caught up in that replay.
And Gangplank stole the dragon, too.
Oh, my goodness.
This is just going from bad to really, really good for Pickering. A really unfortunate team fight in which Fiora got 3-4 kills.
Yeah.
And then casually a quadra kill from Victor.
This is the second Baron.
Baron, Dragon number 2, so not great, although it does help their siege a little bit.
That's it. That's what they need. They got rid of the guy who's giving them the most trouble. Now they can just turtle out this Baron. That's it. You might be thinking like, hey, like, no, there's no way. Look, Callista's recalling. Victor's going to a side lane. It's done.
You know what? Victor's going to side lane. This is actually something that I'm really happy to see. Just kidding, because he's going back.
Yeah,
I was really hoping that he was going to use that to push an advantage, but no. Gangplank has his teleport and his ultimate up. Go to the top lane, my friend. Go to the top lane. Push out the lane. Use this Baron buff. They're not using the Baron buff. Don't get Baron. Well, I mean, do get Baron, because then you can, you know, deny it from your enemy. But don't get Baron if you're not going to use it. Use Baron. It's so good.
Yeah, and now that Thresh is up, they have a little over half of the Baron buff remaining. Thresh has to join them as quickly as he can. They can stall this out. Fiora's going to push that top lane, but she doesn't even have TP available. She's got it. They gotta back up and clear the waves. Ooh, it's great damage onto Gragas there. This is important. The turret is incredibly low. Gragas can just walk right up and force the turret out. If they don't play this carefully, this could be game over for Kingston. This is it. This is the most crucial moment. Victor goes right in for the turret. Extempers gets hooked in by Thresh. The ultimate used by Brand, ultimate used by Gangplank. They get the turret and they're going to squeeze their way through this. I would just sacrifice this inhibitor. You don't need to end the game over it. Off to the side, we see Jinx playing around with Kalista. She actually uses her hero to get out. Ultimate does miss. Borhorez caught by the stun by Victor. But huge knockup coming up from Brand. This is actually going to turn the tides of the fight. Shutdown going on to Victor. Jinx gets excited. Will this be the end of Kingston? Pickering manages to turn the tides of the fight. Kalista gets a double kill onto Jinx. They will get this inhibitor. Brand is one of the only carries left. There was a 2-for-2 exchange.
After all of that, just a 2-for-2. Well, not just a 2-for-2. 2-for-2 and a tower and inhibitor going over to Pickering.
But it's not over yet. They're still continuing to fight. The stun gets landed onto Gangplank. Q used by Lee Sin. Will he connect his ultimate end? Ooh, but great rotation by Kalista. Gragas manages to find Lee Sin in a little bit of a tough spot. Yummy Spirits comes back with full HP, and they get 2 inhibitors off this.
2 towers, 2 inhibitors, and a 2-for-2. That's a worth in all chat in my book. There's a banner of command on the Thresh on Pickering.
Wow,
that is awesome, especially considering that's actually I forget about that item a lot. It's actually a good adaptation because most of the wave clear that Kingston is bringing is in that Brand. And when you get the magic damage immunity, you need Fiora to go clear that.
Also, I do want to mention that, you know, although Pickering does have the edge currently, they are 7k gold ahead. They've got 2 exposed inhibitors for themselves.
For a team that's 7k gold down, Kingston is playing remarkably well. Yeah,
and one thing I do have to mention is that Brand was set a little bit behind in the early game, and she is still kind of climbing her way through. You know, she's got the Rylai's, but she doesn't have her first, you know, big purchase.
She's got...
Once she gets the Rabadons, maybe we'll see something else happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
She's got 2 items to Victor's 4.5. That's where I feel like that's where most of the disparity in power for these teams is coming from. Is that mid lane.
Oh, great hook coming out from Thresh. They managed to get Extempers a little bit dangerously low. Oh, this is just bad news bears for Team Kingston. Double kill going over to Victor.
And watch Kalista jump around these fights. She's untouched with that double lifesteal.
Fiora walking a little bit too close to her. I think this is game over. There's absolutely nothing that Kingston can do.
Inhibitor number 3, and it looks like Pickering is going for the win. Nexus turret number 1 goes down.
Wow.
Nexus turret number 2.
I think, whoa, Victor going a little bit too deep. Gets the kill onto Brand. Borhorez in a little bit of trouble. Doing what he can. Gets the kill, almost gets the kill onto Gangplank. But that's going to be yet another game in Group D. right now, both Kingston and Pickering are 1-1 in the group stage. If we do take a quick look, let's just take a quick look at the standings in Group D. There is A, B, C, D as far as groups go. Let's take a quick look.
I'm just going to take a look at
so Kingston and Windsor are currently Pickering and Windsor are currently actually. Oh, okay. Kingston is currently at a win and a loss, but Pickering has 2 wins in a row currently. I was talking about Windsor earlier, but I made the mistake. I was lied to. Things happen. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. But Kingston is holding on for a little bit of dear life, but they do still have a chance. Windsor is 1-1. Burlington hasn't really even started playing yet for some reason. Ottawa's at a loss, so they can still make it out of groups if they can, take another win or two. But Pickering is completely dominating in another group, in Group C. But wow, what an incredible game! And I have to commend the Thresh. Exceptional hook play. And those hooks were definitely made for Dreaming because they landed all the time. They got the key targets. And I can tell that Team Kingston was just upset. They were just like, holy moly, guacamole, this Thresh is throwing hooks left and right. Call him Muhammad Ali. But Victor with the follow-up, Callista with the follow-up, Gragas with the sneaky barrels, and Gangplank, you suffered a little bit in the early game, but you definitely picked up some slack.
If you look at the damage graphs, Jinx did everything in her power to try and carry that game. Yeah. Almost 43,000 damage to champions. Yeah. But it just wasn't quite enough. Victor with 35, Gangplank with 30. Didn't quite see the late game Gangplank threat that you usually do. But still a decent showing, not necessarily representative of what a late game Gangplank can do. Though we'll take it. Like you said, some actually fantastic Thresh play so far in this tournament. Very, very pleased. It's one of my favorite champions to play, personally. I'm a mid laner, and that's one of my favorite champions to play. So it's fun if a mid laner is saying it's fun. Gragas not building an Abyssal Scepter, so that's nice. Big fan of that.
Overall, great, solid play from both teams. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's going to be it for us for this game. We're going to be back with more League of Legends on Solo Queue Legends 3. Don't go anywhere.